All right, we're back, and I realized that, we talk about running a law firm, being a mom and a lawyer, and just all the things, and we talk about things kind of like from a higher kind of perspective, like, or maybe more, I don't know, we don't always get into the nitty-gritty. And so I figured today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of actually running a law firm and what kind of software you need or that I recommend that you have in your law firm. And let me tell you, like, I've used a lot. I've been on my own for almost 8 years now. Before being on my own, I worked at a small law firm for 7 years before that. So I've been practicing for almost 15 years now. I can't believe it's been 15 years, but for almost 15 years now. And so let me tell you what I use in my firm, what I recommend. If you are just starting out, you want to open a law firm, you've recently opened your law firm, maybe you've had your law firm, you're looking to kind of figure out maybe should you change some things, you want to integrate some more tech into your law firm. So let's just get into it. These are like kind of like my top, I think I have 10. Yeah, I have 10 things that I use and recommend when it comes to like software, and I've got some virtual support in here also. So let's just get into it. So number one is that you have to have your calendar in order. You need to have an online cloud-based calendar. Now I know I love a paper calendar. I have paper calendars for different purposes, but when it comes to work and running a solo law firm efficiently, it needs to be online cloud-based. I use Google Calendar. That is what I'm telling you to use. I also use Outlook, but that's not my number one. I use that for a few things, but my everything is my Google Calendar. And also, and you need to have a cloud-based calendar, and you should go with Google because it's the best for integrating with your other software types, okay? And we're gonna get into that shortly. But if you don't have a Google Calendar, get one immediately. If you have one, make sure you are using it. And within my Google Calendar, I have different calendars that are mine inside that Google Calendar. So I have a personal calendar, I have a work calendar, like I have different types. If you use Google Calendar, you'll know what I mean, but you could have different like settings or different types of calendars, and so you want to make sure that you have that set up. And it's all color coded and I love it. It's very organized, it's visually very pleasing, maybe except for today, like today, where I was just in back to back to back to back appointments today. But if you followed along, you know that that's how I run my schedule, because I try to do things more efficiently. So I don't see clients 5 days a week. I see clients 2 to 3 days a week. I run my law firm about 25 hours a week. And so that means that when I have my days of seeing clients, that they are jam-packed, but that just means I get a lot done also in that day. It's also kind of an exhausting day usually, especially if I'm in the office. Like that's where we are right now. This is my office. I actually have a brick and mortar office that I come to like 2 days a week, and then I have my home office where you usually see me is when you do my home office. So okay, first one, calendar, we got that out of the way. Get a Google Calendar, just it's gonna be the best. So along those same lines, number two is an online calendar system. So it used to be in years past that, my paralegal would offer appointment dates and times to people. They wouldn't get back to her right away. Somebody else would take it. Then that first caller would be upset about it. And it was a lot to manage. And then all the follow-up, because I charge consultation fees. And so having to collect the consultation fee, it was just a lot of back and forth. And I don't think it was the best customer experience, right? From that perspective, from the client's perspective. Like when they contact our office and they want to make an appointment to see me or to come see you, that process needs to be as easy, as simple as possible. And if you are just starting out, It might be easier, right, if you're answering your own phone and you're just scheduling someone, but as you get busier, as you will, you're going to need some support with scheduling, because you're not going to be able to answer the phone calls and do the scheduling. As you get busier and you make money, you need to pass those tasks off to someone else. And even better is if you can have technology do that for you. That's where Calendly comes in. And let me just share, like, I'm not getting paid by Calendly to say this. This is just what's tried and true for me and my firm, and what I've recommended to my clients when I'm coaching other attorneys on how to set up their own solo law firm and how to run their law firm. This is just what I recommend. So Calendly, and I'll have like a link for it down below. That's what I use. I think there's quite a few options for online calendaring. I love Calendly because not only does it integrate with my Google Calendar, but also I use LawPay to process like debit and credit card payments, and it integrates with LawPay. So when someone schedules their consultation with me using my calendar link, it also will collect the payment of the consultation fee at the same time. And it sends the confirmation email, it sends the reminder email, like, it's great. So that's what I recommend. Okay, Google Calendar is free. Calendly, I believe on the annual plan is like 150 bucks a year. I'm pretty sure that's right. So that's what I use. And you can have different appointment types, right? So for all my different practice areas, and you know I do different things. I do estate planning, I do real estate, I do bankruptcy. So for the different consultation types, I have a different Calendly link that's been set up based on the type of consultation, because when they schedule the consultation, I have some intake questions, but the intake questions for a bankruptcy consult are going to be different than an estate planning consult, right? And so each consult type has its own intake questions. I also have Calendly links for like signing appointments for my clients to schedule a signing with me. Like for my estate planning, we do in-person wet signings, and so I have a link for that. So Calendly is great. If you're just starting out, brand new, this might not be something that you need right away, but I think it's something that you'll find very useful very quickly. All right, project management. Okay, this is different than your CRM, okay? And you don't need both. Okay, I'll get to my CRM shortly. But for project management, I love a visual. I love a Kanban board. And I used to have a very large whiteboard here in my office where we had everyone's names on it and what the status was. I have outgrown the largest of whiteboards, and with, you know, through COVID and working remotely and having a team that's remote, I need something that's online, so I use Asana, A-S-A-N-A. They have a free version, which is really robust. I don't even think you would need to pay for it. But it is just an online visual task management tool or project management tool where you can see who's doing what. So things can be assigned within my team, having due dates, it's tied to a client's name, you can put notes in there and stuff. And it eliminates a lot of the needs for emails back and forth among your team. But if you're just starting out and you don't have a team, you should still have something like this, because you need to track what's going on. I don't, well, it's not here anymore, but I used to have on my desk like this legal size paper printout of all my cases, in addition to the whiteboard where we were kind of tracking what was going on. And so with Asana, like, I don't use that anymore. I don't need it anymore. And you can create like workflows. So for certain types of cases, it could automatically know, like, okay, for an estate planning, these are the different steps in that process, or whatever the different types are. So I like Asana for the visualness of it all and tracking all the tasks. Again, your CRM can do it. I know mine can do it. I've just been using Asana for so long that I'm not switching. So I use Asana. All right, next, number 4 now. A virtual receptionist. When I first started out, I was answering my own phones. And you know what happened? I started missing phone calls. and phone calls started going to voicemail during business hours. You do not want people who are calling your office to get your voicemail during business hours. Please, if that is happening, we need to correct that immediately. If you have not had that happen yet, maybe you just started out and you're able to catch all those phone calls and you don't have the income coming in to support a virtual receptionist. That could be the case, but that's going to change soon for you, okay? So I use Smith AI. There's a lot of different options. I know there's like Ruby Receptionist and there's a few different options. I use Smith AI. I've been using them for years now, and they catch all my overflow. So I don't answer my phone. You call my office, you're not going to get me on the phone. So I have a paralegal, I have a virtual assistant, and then we have Smith AI. And so Smith AI will catch all the phone calls that my team can't catch because they're probably busy working, right? Or maybe they're on the phone or whatever's going on. So they catch the overflow. Smith AI, they just take a message. Now you can actually have them like schedule appointments for you and things like that. I don't have them doing all that. It's just, I need a live person to answer my phone, take the message, and then we will call back. That's how I have it set up. They have different, and I like Smith AI. Let me tell you this, because some of these virtual receptionists, they charge you by the minute. So how many minutes they spend answering your phones, that correlates to what your fee will be. With Smith AI, it's not by the minute, it's by the call. And they don't charge you for spam calls. And so if you're like me and you've been doing this for a while, you get a lot of solicitations. If you get spam calls, that doesn't count against your quota for the month. And it doesn't matter how long the call takes, if it's a 1-minute call or a 5-minute call. It is just per call. And they have different plans. And so it depends on kind of what your call volume is. If you want a smaller plan or a larger plan, when I link it below, you'll see kind of the website where they post their prices on the website. That outlines kind of what the fees are. And then if you go over your monthly quota, they just charge you per call, like $6 or $7 per call, something like that. So highly recommend. All right, next. Billing software. This is the same as kind of like a CRM. A client relationship manager is a technical term. Just billing software. I have used a lot. I have used Clio. I have used Practice Panther. I have used Smokeball, and then I have used MyCase, which is where I am now. I've been with MyCase for a little over a year now. Now, when I first started out, I literally had a Word document because I'm not very good at Excel. So I had a Word document where I would track the money that came in and the money that went out. Let me tell you, my poor CPA who had to decipher, and it was actually pretty organized. Because your first year, you know, you're not doing a whole lot, you know. I mean, even making $100 grand in that first year, like, there wasn't a lot, you know, so it was manageable. But after that first year, like, I didn't want to do it anymore. Like, the manualness of having to calculate all those things, because I don't know and don't care to learn Excel, is just not something that I'm going to waste my time on. And so I've used all these options. I actually really liked Practice Panther. I had them for a few years on my own, but then I started having a lot of tech issues, glitching, and the customer service was just in the garbage. It was not good. And I actually have heard this from a few other attorneys. Now, I have heard that since I left them, that it's gotten better. Not because I left, but they just have improved their customer service. But I just haven't gone back. So I did like Practice Panther. Smokeball was a beast. It was way too much for what my needs are. I am predominantly a flat fee firm. I do very little billing. Most of my cases are flat fee. And so I think for like a PI firm or a family law firm, something that's just bigger than what I'm doing over here, maybe is Smokeball is a better fit with all the automation and everything it does. It's very robust, but it's also very expensive. I want to say it was $200 or $300 a month for Smokeball. And I didn't need all that. And so I went to MyCase. I like MyCase. Again, I don't believe you need Asana with MyCase, but I've just been using Asana and I really like how it works, so I stick with it. But I believe you can do all that in MyCase. It has a secure online portal that you can share documents and messages with clients, which I really like for my estate plan. Like for estate planning, I prepare their drafts, I post them in their MyCase portal, and the client can go in and view their documents so that you're not emailing sensitive documents. The clients can upload sensitive documents there for you, and so it's a great way to securely exchange information and documents with clients. So I like MyCase. They charge you per user. Let me not misquote you. Let me pull up the prices and then I will add that in the description below, because I'm gonna lie to you if I try to figure out what the price is. All right, your website. You've got to have a website for your law firm. You already know that, okay? So if you are just starting out and you're looking to open your law firm, I am all about opening a law firm on a shoestring budget. I will link below my prior video on how I opened my law firm for under $2,500, and I did that factoring in that I was paying rent for this space. So that's included. If you are working remotely, you can open your law firm for even less than that. But because of that, I created my website on the cheap. I use Squarespace. I like Squarespace. They're visually appealing websites. They are very like drag and click, like it's very user friendly. I try to use, I don't even know the name, but I try to use some other ones, and I'm not tech savvy. Like I'm not savvy with the code and all that stuff. So, but I also know that I have my domain through GoDaddy, and I know GoDaddy offers website services, and I have a colleague who did hers with GoDaddy and it came out really nice. I was very impressed with it. So if you don't use Squarespace, then use GoDaddy. At this point in time, I use FindLaw, and FindLaw is like this marketing wheelhouse for attorneys that I use for my website. But again, I didn't pay for that and sign up for that until I was busy enough on a consistent basis to support paying that expense, because it's an expense. It is more than my rent per month, and I'll talk about that later in a different video, but I'm going to be scaling that back significantly when my renewal comes up. So, but I like it. Like FindLaw works. Like the ROI is there to support it. But if you're just starting out, don't sign up for FindLaw. Don't be paying that much money for things if you're just opening your doors. All right, cloud storage. I use Dropbox. I pay for the business version of Dropbox. I love Dropbox. I know there's other options out there, but that's what I use. I love it. The team loves it. So that's what I use. That's what I recommend. A phone number. You have to get a virtual phone number, okay? That way, you can have one phone number and have it point anywhere. It can ring anywhere. So with my virtual phone number through Grasshopper, which I've had since day one, the office phone number, it can ring my cell phone. It can ring my office phone that I have here on my desk. It can ring my paralegal's phone. It can ring my virtual assistant's phone. It rings Smith AI. You can point it to call whatever number you want. And I have 3 extensions set up on my phone. I have a phone tree. So when you call my office number, it's gonna say, you know, press 1 if you're a new client, press 2 if you're a current client, everyone else press 3. And you can point each extension to call somewhere different, and you can have multiple numbers in sequence. So maybe, you know, it rings my paralegal first a few times. If she doesn't answer, then it rings my assistant. If she doesn't answer, then it rings Smith AI. Like it rolls over. And you can text with people through the app on your phone or on your computer, and it appears that it's coming from the office number. So it's great. So I have the app here on my phone, and I can text with clients through the app. Oh, you can't see, which also actually is probably a good thing. But I can call out and it on my personal cell phone through the app, and it shows as the office number calling. I can receive calls on my cell phone, which again, I don't do at this point, but if you do, you can do that through Grasshopper, and I can send and receive text with clients through the Grasshopper app through the office number. So it always appears, no matter who is calling or texting from my office, it always is through the office phone number. I love it. It is not very expensive. I want to say it's 30 bucks a month, but I've been using it for so long that I might be grandfathered in. I don't know what it is currently, but worth it hands down. And then lastly, and it's the least exciting out of all of these, but it's a fax. Yes, people still fax. I send and receive faxes on a monthly basis. And I think it will depend on your practice area, right? Like with my bankruptcy practice, I have to communicate with the IRS. They will not email you, they will only fax. So I have to have fax. I have some clients who fax me things, that's what works for them, that's fine with me. Also, I think like if you're like a PI practice and you need like medical records, I think fax is very common for that. So I use MetroFax. It's like 8 bucks a month, and it just emails it to you. So whatever faxes come in, you get it as an email. If you want to send out a fax, you just do it online and attach it as a PDF, and it comes through the other side as a fax. So that one is the least exciting, but one that needs to be on here because it's a question that I actually see and hear quite a bit about faxing. And if your practice area does not require faxing, then don't get it. But for those of us who need the ability to fax, that's an option. It's 8 bucks a month. I think there's some free ones. I wouldn't do a free one. I heard are not very good, especially if you're faxing sensitive documents. Also, you want to be leery of using anything free that you're sending sensitive information over. One I don't have on, there's two I don't have on this list that we need to add. One is like security for your computer, right? Antivirus, things like that. I use McAfee. I've been using McAfee since I was like in college, so I've just stayed with McAfee. So that's who I use. And then payment processing. I mentioned it when I talked about Calendly. I use LawPay. It's very professional looking. It's very seamless. It integrates with a lot of other softwares. And also, if you are collecting trust deposits, IOLTA deposits, they are able to handle those funds electronically through your trust account, and to do so properly without messing up your trust account. That's the last thing you need on your hands. And so any fees for LawPay come out of your operating account, not your trust account. So I would personally, I would say don't use Zelle, don't use PayPal, don't use Venmo to collect your legal fees. I don't like it. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, I just don't like the appearance that it gives. So I really like LawPay, but if you want to use those, by all means, do what works best for you. But this is my list of what I recommend, and those are not on my list of recommendations. So I hope this helped. If you're looking to open a law firm, you're just starting out, you need some help, feel free to reach out. My contact information is below. I work at doing coaching and consulting for attorneys who are looking to open a law firm, run their own law firm, and to do so with the flexibility that they need in their lives and on a schedule that works for them. So I hope this helps, and have a good one. All right.